What's up guys, Mickle here, and in this video, I want to talk about some events taking place in the world right now that is making XRP exponentially more valuable and making it highly likely XRP will succeed in the future. When I first started learning about XRP, there was only one main threat that I thought really could challenge the XRP ledger as becoming a critical technology in our future. In this video, I want to talk about that as well as a massive misnomer I see going around the entire cryptocurrency industry. So many people say the XRP ledger is centralized and networks like Bitcoin and Ethereum are decentralized. I want to show you that that is flat out wrong, so make sure to stick around for that. Like always guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. Guys, Uphold is almost done with their 100,000 XRP giveaway. I have tons of entries in this thing. I would love to win 100,000 XRP. Do not miss your chance to sign up for this. Go to the link in the description of this video and sign up with Uphold now. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, I posted this chart the other day of why I thought Bitcoin was distributed and not necessarily decentralized, and it got a ton of attention. And it really got me thinking how interesting it was that we hear all of these narratives and rumors in the cryptocurrency industry about how Bitcoin and Ethereum are so decentralized and things like XRP are centralized. But when you look at the facts, it's actually the complete opposite. And I think this is something that's really important for you guys to fully understand. So I talked about this yesterday, and essentially what I was showing was that the Bitcoin network hash rate, 80% of that hash rate is controlled by 4 miners. So to me, that's massive centralization, right? You essentially have 4 parties who have a massive control over the Bitcoin network. And this is something that's never really talked about because people always say, hey, anyone can run a miner on the network. Yeah, that's true, but you have specific parties that represent some of these miners that make up over 80% of the entire validation power for the network. Now, a 51% attack, right, only takes 51% of the validation power. So if you have 4 parties who control 80%, that is a massive risk to the network. Now, people can argue whether or not it's realistic that that occurs. I don't think that really matters. I think the bigger point here is that there's parties who have a lot of influence over the Bitcoin network in a non-decentralized way. Can I run a Bitcoin miner on the network and contribute to the validation power? Yes, that makes it very distributed. Anyone can do that. But when it comes down to the power of the network, it's controlled by a select few. Now, if we take a look at Ethereum, and I was actually thinking about this because of all the ETHgate stuff coming out right now. I'm not going to jump into this at this moment, but essentially this guy right here was talking about how people have tried to coerce him into voting certain ways on the Ethereum network. And you have the same issue with Ethereum that we had with Bitcoin. Essentially with Ethereum, right, all the important parts of the network are controlled by staking, and staking is just whoever has the most Ethereum, right? Whoever has the most Ethereum has the most power. And I asked Grok to actually make me a list of who has the most power on the Ethereum network, and take a look who it is. Lido, 32%, Coinbase, 20%, Kraken, 15%, Binance, 10%. So 3 exchanges have more power than anyone else on the Ethereum network. They get to push whatever policies they want going forth. And what we've seen is all these exchanges are under heavy government crackdowns, right? So the government could essentially probably convince any of these exchanges to do what the government needs them to do. Now, is that likely to happen? Personally, I don't necessarily think so, but it's a possibility and a weak point in the network that is never talked about. So now I just want to compare this to the XRP ledger because I want you to understand that this whole narrative about the XRP ledger being centralized, the XRP ledger being more centralized than Bitcoin and Ethereum, is flat on its face completely wrong and just a narrative because these people want to pump their own bags. If we take a look how the XRP ledger works, well, first of all, we'll see that there's a massive amount of different validators on the network. So there's definitely a distributed amount of validators and anyone can run a validator. So just like Bitcoin, right? Anyone can run a validator, but what's different than Bitcoin is each one of these validators actually has an equal say. You don't get more power by owning more XRP, or you don't get more power by owning more validators. Instead, you get to run one validator and every validator has equal power. This is decentralization. This is every single person on the This is every single party who is part of the system getting an equal say in the network. Now, it's a little more complex than that with UNL lists, but the important part to really understand here is that the power is distributed among each party equally in a decentralized manner. You do not see that with Bitcoin and Ethereum. In Bitcoin and Ethereum, there are ways to get to the top. There are ways to accumulate more power in the network and dominate it, and that is not the case with the XRP ledger. I just think this is so important to understand because it totally blows up one of the biggest narratives against the XRP ledger. And what you will actually notice is there are very logical arguments for why the XRP ledger is actually more decentralized than these other networks. Just something I think is so important to understand because that's one of the FUD points as an XRP holder you are going to run into the most, but it's so obvious to see when you actually look at the data that the XRP ledger is a lot more uncorruptible than Bitcoin and Ethereum, in which you can use money to buy power over the network. Guys, at the end of the day, I think we all know there's an infinite amount of money in the world. The Federal Reserve can print it overnight. So if your network is susceptible by someone coming in with monetary value and taking it over, to me, that seems like a big issue. So now I want to finish this video off and actually talk about something that I made a video about the other day, and I don't think people fully wrapped their head around how important this was, but essentially it was a clip of Tucker Carlson talking about how he sees the world going into a multipolar world. A multipolar world is a world in which there are multiple reserve currencies. There are multiple dominant currencies in the world. And a lot of people, I think, had a hard time understanding why this was so good for XRP. And I just want to break it down real quick. The reason why it is so important that we enter into a multipolar world for XRP is because it makes the need for a decentralized neutral asset exponentially more important. If we were going into a world, right, where the United States was still trusted by all the different countries, if the United States was acting very responsibly with all these different countries and everyone looked up to the United States, well, then every country in the world would probably be okay using the dollar. If the United States wasn't weaponizing the dollar against other countries, if the United States wasn't funding wars against other countries would probably say, you know what, United States, you have been so responsible, you have been so fair, we will continue to use the US dollar, and in that case, there would be no need for any bridge currency, right? If everyone had trust in a single world currency, there'd be no need for the bridge. But what we are seeing in real time is the exact opposite playing out. Countries all over the world are losing trust in one another. They are losing trust in the United States. They all want to create their own internal currency. They all want to have their own systems so they cannot be manipulated by other countries. This is one of the most important changes I see going on in the world right now that benefits XRP. The more we have different countries breaking away from one another, the more we are going to need interoperability between these systems, and the more it is going to be important to have neutral, decentralized sources of liquidity that any country can contribute to or draw off on. If we just had everyone trusting the United States, if we just had everyone perfectly fine with using the US dollar, then there would be no need for all these different systems to be connected. Everyone could just use the same system and be perfectly happy and trust that the United States is going to do the right thing. But everything we are seeing in how governments operate, how the United States operates, where the world is going, is screaming the exact opposite. And to me, when I first got into XRP, this was one of the biggest things I had a hard time with. I said, you know what? XRP is great if the world moves towards this very divided multipolar world. But if we get unison back, right, and everyone goes back to trusting the United States and trusting the petrodollar, that could actually be a big issue for XRP. But what we are seeing in real time, and now this is going mainstream, is the United States is losing trust when it comes down to other nations, especially when it comes to its currency. The United States used to have a monopoly on its currency, and that is slowly going away. Now, I'm not making an argument here, right, whether or not that is good or bad for the United States, the US dollar, right? That is so complex. It's way more than I want to get into right here. But the important part to understand and wrap your head around is that this multipolar world is good for XRP because as we lose trust in each other, lose trust in each other's currencies, I have a feeling decentralized neutral currencies are going to become the main source of trust. If you can't trust your enemy, right? If you can't trust your friends who are now becoming your enemies, but you need a way to interact with them to create a level playing field between you guys so you can still do business, because business isn't going away, right? We just don't trust each other in these business deals. Then you need a neutral settlement platform, a level playing field, a neutral asset, something that both parties can trust, and cryptocurrencies are emerging as that trustless layer to move monetary value. I really hope this helps you guys out in understanding why this new world we're heading into is 100% made for XRP to be a superstar in this emerging financial system. Guys, I think it's only a matter of time. The political landscapes are playing out. The tech has never been stronger. And what we're watching right now is the institutional adoption, the big money coming in to really make this possible. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be able to talk to me personally, ask me questions, make sure to subscribe to my Twitter. There you'll be able to DM me, send me whatever you want, get my comments on stuff. And guys, make sure you're subscribed because I do live streams now and you don't want to miss out on going on the live stream live so you can ask me stuff. Anyway, though, with all that said, hope you guys have a great weekend. And for now, Mickle out.